It's presidential, the outcome evidential. We strive.
Welcome back, family. You already know, read, remember, repeat. I lost my voice at the convention this weekend. We are in Dallas. This is the Dallas edition. How are y'all feeling, man? You know, I've been doing a lot lately, man, running around. It's a lot of things that we do. We're chasing the success. We're not chasing the success, actually, we're attracting the success, but we're moving into that. So I need you guys to understand the power of proximity. You gotta be around the people with the bag, man. You go around 4 broke people, you'll be the 5th. You know what I mean? So let's start thinking better, you know what I mean? Shit, man, I missed y'all, man. Let's go. J was the pinnacle of success in our neighborhood. He sold millions of records. He toured the world, rocking stages from Europe to Asia as part of the first breakout hip-hop group. He was an inspiration to millions of black kids in Queens and around the country. Once they hit the big time, the rest of Run DMC left Queens and never looked back. Rev Run and DMC went to New Jersey, and their manager, Russell Simmons, set up shop in Manhattan. But Jay stayed in Queens his entire life. He opened a recording studio in Jamaica, where he taught aspiring local rappers, myself included, the finer points of constructing a song. It seems like a great story. Local DJ becomes famous, tours the world, and comes back to his old stomping grounds to share his gift with the next generation. In reality, it was a death sentence. By staying in Queens, Jay never separated himself from the negative elements close to hip-hop, especially in our hood. In Queens, the drug dealers were the first people to have real money. Hip-hop was a hobby, just something to do with your homies on the stoop or in the park. The cash was in selling drugs. Jay's generation was inspired by what the drug dealers had. Nice clothes, fly cars, and beautiful women on their arms. The peacoats and Godfather hats, and Jay helped make famous with Run DMC. That's what he saw the dealers wearing. Same with the gold chains, Run DMC and later LL Cool J helped popularize. They represented drug dealer fashion before they became hip hop. Today, the opposite is true. Rappers can make way more money than drug dealers, thanks in no small part to the path early pioneers like Jam Master Jay helped blaze. Jay's mistake was that he didn't keep moving forward. If he followed Russell and DMC to Jersey, Long Island, or Manhattan, I have no doubt he'd still be alive today. Instead, he stayed too close to the wrong kind of people. People who not only didn't have his best interests at heart, but were actually jealous of his fame and success. They didn't celebrate him for staying in the neighborhood and mentoring aspiring MCs. They actually hated him for it. By staying around folks like that, he made it inevitable for sucker shit to happen. It was a similar situation with Nipsey Hussle. I didn't know Nipsey as well as I knew Jay, but he seemed like a stand-up guy. When I agreed to shoot the video for YG's Tooted and Booted, which Nipsey was featured on, I told the guy at the record company, hey, make sure you bring the kid who looks like Snoop. That's how we met in person. Nipsey was a great dude who seemed focused on both his community and his family. Sadly, the same sucker shit that got Jay also got Nipsey. When Nipsey was killed, people started pointing fingers at everyone except those suckers. On Twitter or IG, the first thing you see was the government killed Nipsey. The logic was Nipsey had been working on a documentary about Dr. Sebi, the famed Honduran herbalist who some people felt had been jailed and later killed because of his controversial views on Western medicine. Dr. Sebi's teachings were a threat to the pharmaceutical industry, so Nipsey had to be killed before he could help spread them to the world. To hear other people tell it, Nipsey was a threat to the government because he was teaching the hood about financial empowerment and social justice. If too many poor young people became enlightened because of Nipsey's work, it would threaten the status quo in Los Angeles. So he had to go for that. There's no doubt Nipsey was doing great work in his hood, especially with Vector 90, a co-working space and STEM training center that taught tech skills. And though I don't have any strong feelings on Dr. Sadie's teachings, I wouldn't be shocked if there were some elements in the pharmaceutical field who wanted to keep that work under wraps. But when people say that the government killed Nipsey, they're not being honest or realistic. The government didn't kill Nipsey. Allegedly, a sucker named Shitty Cuz killed him. That's the depressing truth. He didn't kill Nipsey because Nip was a threat to any status quo, and no one paid him to kill Nipsey to protect P. Fizzer or Johnson & Johnson. Shitty killed Nipsey because he was a hater. Plain and simple. He was a snitch, and when Nipsey called him on it, Shitty reacted with violence. He couldn't stand that someone as successful, as beloved as Nipsey didn't want someone as unsuccessful and untrustworthy as Shitty around. The crab in the barrel mentality is what killed Nipsey, just like it killed Jay and so many other successful black folks who stayed in their community after they found success. That's why when I started making legitimate money, I left the hood and never looked back. Sure, I'll visit from time to time, but I never moved back permanently. If I did, there's zero question I would have been negatively impacted. Understanding that mentality is why I don't have any second thoughts about not sticking around. Do I give a lot of money back to the streets through my charities? Absolutely. Do I work to make sure those kids have better legal opportunities than I had? No doubt. I'm not living under any illusions though. On the streets, there just isn't enough space for both success and suckers. The quicker you understand that, the quicker you'll get the most out of your journey. Sorry about that. Demand discipline. I'm not suggesting that you drop all your day one homeboys the second you taste a little success. Those are the people who know you best. And if they're true friends, they'll keep it the most real with you. They'll tell you when your verse is whack, or your shirt is too young, or that influencer who is promising big things actually seems like they're full of shit. Those are some of the positive qualities that your day ones can add to your team. But they can also bring some of the negative qualities of the hood, beefs, dramas, and clashes of ego. To make sure that doesn't happen, you have to first instill and then demand a sense of discipline in your team. That became clear to me early in my career. When I was supposed to perform with Nas at a concert in Central Park, getting to share stage with him was a big deal to me. As a superstar coming up out of Queens, Nas was someone I really looked up to. When I got to the venue, Nas was already there, and it looked like he brought all Queensbridge with him. There must have been a couple of dozen guys from the bridge standing backstage, drinking, smoking, and hyping themselves up for Nas's set. I realized they didn't know what to do with the energy they were creating. It was like they were starting a fire they couldn't contain. Sure enough, they started fighting each other. It was Queensbridge versus Queensbridge. Even though his crew was turning on itself, Nas was either unwilling or unable to put out the fire. Soon the cops got called and the concert got shut down before Nas even stepped on stage. In my eyes, Nas had mishandled the moment. I understood why he brought so many guys from Queensbridge with him. Central Park is no man's land, and there's no telling who he might have run into there. A crew from Brooklyn, a couple of guys from the Bronx, or maybe a rival crew from another neighborhood in Queens. It was smart to make sure he was surrounded by his own people. That wasn't as strategic. What wasn't as strategic was his failure to keep them in check. Family. That was Jules right there. Y'all already know what's going on, right? Shit, man. Read, remember, repeat. As you know, we invest heavy. You know what I mean? We into trading. So if you want to tap in, get with me. You know what I mean? Let's make some money together. And yeah, man, read, remember, repeat. Getting ready for this flight. Shout outs to everybody that was there at the SummerSlam event. all the major speakers I met, E.T. the hip hop preacher, and let's go, gang. 100 Dallas edition.